Speaker.
Madam Speaker.
Gentleman from St. Mary's.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Question for the floor leader.
Madam Speaker.
Good afternoon.
Turn leader.
You were talking about earlier about the people that developed the map. Are these the same DLS staff that developed this map, that developed the LRAC maps that we passed in December?
I'm not sure if it's the exact same folks.
I mean, it's the same people, same software, same, who drew them?
I would assume so, but DLS is a relatively large organization.
Okay, well, when you say DLS staff developed this, I mean, does that include any staff members that work directly for the Speaker of the House or the Senate President?
I believe so. They're involved in almost every bill that gets passed.
Okay, so who appoints the head of DLS?
I believe it's the presiding officers.
The presiding officers. So I mean, you can kind of say that DLS works for the presiding officers, right?
The Department of Legislative Services and the fantastic people that work in it work for the people of Maryland.
So during this whole process, you know, Friday, the judge says we need new maps by Wednesday. We had a focus group that went from like May to November, the Citizens Redistricting Commissions. Why were those maps never considered?
Those maps were drawn up and they were among dozens of maps that were submitted to the legislature, but they were drawn up prior to the judge's decision.
But those maps had citizens' input. How many citizens had input on this map?
This map was in the public hearing, you mean?
Yeah.
We had
you had a public hearing. I mean, you only drove it since Friday. Yeah.
3 people that I recall that showed up to testify, all of whom were Republican activists.
But how many citizens participated in the actual process of drawing it? Like weighed in on the district. We just had a delegate speak about Dundalk being divided up.
As the minority leader acknowledged, the court required us to draw a new map in 5 days. I think, given more time, the process might have looked different, but we had 5 days to draw a map.
But we already had a map. I would call it a backup map that's been focus group by the citizens. So you had a Citizens Redistricting Commission. Why was that never considered a viable option when we had so many citizens input into it?
We had, as I said, many maps submitted to the legislature.
Okay, thank you. On the bill, Madam Speaker, on the bill.
On the bill.
Brief history lesson in redistricting. You know, Maryland was represented, balanced in our congressional delegation for years. You look pre-2000, we had 4 Republicans and 4 Democrats. Redistricting happens and the delegation goes 6-2. After the 2010 redistricting, the delegation goes to 7-1 with Congressman Andy Harris being the only Republican. Now here's the interesting thought on that is those last maps that we currently have today that were in effect the last election, we thought those were gerrymandered. And a legal case brought up former Governor O'Malley, who admitted under deposition that those maps were drawn for political purposes, something that we've been saying for about a decade. Just on Friday, Judge Battaglia said this plan is an outlier and it's produced in extreme partisan gerrymandering. No kidding. And now we have a map that I would say also was produced for pure partisan gerrymandering. Aesthetically, it does look a little better, but you got to wonder, Carroll County that serves and sits over in this part of the chamber, it's always been in the Western Maryland delegation, and for some reason they're in District 2 and not in District 6. It looks like District 6 creeps down into Montgomery County, some heavily populated blue areas. I don't really know if that's an area of like-mindedness. You look down where we're at in District 5, You got St. Mary's all the way up to Largo, Fort Meade. Again, these maps look to be gerrymandered. Article 1, Section 2 of the Constitution states plainly, the House of Representatives shall be chosen by the people, not by politicians and not by DLS staff working for politicians in the middle of the night. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker.
Gentlelady